Growing up, I was in the foster system. I got adopted, and I got adopted into a really good family. But there was a piece of me that was missing. Even though I had a family, there was still something that I was searching for. I went out into the world trying to find it. Did not find it. I found a lot of heartache and misery. I was a Christian, and I hung out with a lot of Christian kids. Nobody really truly accepted me, or at least I didn't feel accepted. So at the age of 13, one of the skateboard kids, their dad smoked weed. And they were like, well, if you hold it, we'll smoke it with you. And so I was like, this is my chance to, belong. So I was like, sure, I'll hold it for you. And like 1 hour into school, I'm like, oh yeah, no way, here, take it back. At that point, I kind of got labeled inside of my church, and I just kind of ran with it. At 17, I started to live life on my own. It just really went downhill fast. Like, it started off fun, and I ended up becoming dependent on drugs. I always try to do like everything out of my own strength. So I'd always slip back into addiction. I overdosed, couldn't be around my kids. And the 6 and the 4-year-old saw it, saw me dead. EMTs had to bring me back to life. I've been to prison so many times that I couldn't get a birth certificate or a social security card. And Victory Mission had everything. They offered me everything that I needed. I talked to Charlie. He's the one who did the interview, and he was like, we'll help you get all that stuff. I'm like, okay, sign me up. Like, that's what I need. They accepted me the day I got out of prison, that they loved me right where I was at. And then the whole Victory Mission staff just believing. And everybody, everybody that comes through the door, like, they always saw the best in people, saw the potential. I had no idea I had potential. Then they asked me to be an RS, and I'm like, well, sure. This is the first time ever that I'd ever considered myself to be a leader. I could never lead myself, I just surrendered and just buckled down. That's whenever I was like, okay, like, I'm here. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. But I just settled into that, and I started going to school to become a local minister. Started working the front desk at Victory Mission, and then I did the coffee intern, and I got my local minister's license. And I remember sitting at Victory Mission in like phase 1, just being like, okay, Lord, I'm all yours. Whatever you want to do, here I am. And he's like, Josh is like, you want to preach? I'm like, sure. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Lord, you brought me to it. You're getting me through it. Like, I can't do this. 3 months later, here I am, getting to do it. I have my kids over on a regular basis. I can only imagine, like, what's next. I lived in a victim mindset, like being taken from my mom and my parents kind of giving up on me. But like, once I came to understand the sacrifice that Jesus made, the grace of God, then and only then was I able to have victory over my circumstances. It's crazy. It's amazing how faithful God has been. But then I think it's not odd when it's God.